everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to be talking about something that is very integral to your KDP business, and that is your KDP expenses, the money that you spend in order to create your books, in order to see sales from your books, and specifically the 3 tools that I use for my KDP business, the 3 tools that I personally think are absolutely indispensable. If you use other tools, that is totally okay as well. I'm just going to share with you what I personally use, what I love, why I love it, and why I'd recommend it for your KDP business. All right, now let's get into the video. First off, one thing I want to mention is that I personally don't think that you can expect to make money from any platform for any business without first incurring a few expenses. In my opinion, I think it's true that you have to spend money to make money. But thankfully with KDP, you don't have to spend a lot of money in order to make a lot of money. And these affordable tools that I'm about to talk about will help you do just that. The first one that I would like to talk about is BookBolt. Honestly, I think that this is the most important tool to have for your KDP business. BookBolt literally has everything in it. You can totally get away with just using BookBolt throughout your business. It'll give you access to keyword tools, a design studio, which they recently came out with a whole new design studio that gives you access to a lot more features and definitely rivals Canva in terms of its functionality. And then there are also niche research tools. These are all things that you absolutely need for your KDP business. There are ways to do some of these things manually. Personally, I think niche research is something that you can totally do manually. But when it comes to keyword research, this is something you don't want to skimp on. You want to make sure that you are choosing great keywords. Same with niches, but I do think it is easier to do niche research than keyword research without a tool. And BookBolt is just such a simple tool to use for literally everything, especially for keyword research, because BookBolt will give you access to KDP Spy as well, which is a Chrome extension. I've talked about this a lot. I'm sure you've heard about it or at least seen me using it. Basically, you head over to Amazon, and once you activate KDP Spy, you can do both niche research and keyword research right on Amazon rather than having to go into BookBolt itself, though you can do all of that inside BookBolt as well. It really just comes down to what you prefer. BookBolt's also always doing live webinars, so you can learn how to grow your KDP business, how to best use their tools. There's honestly a little something out there for everyone. Even if you use just one of their tools, it can make a huge difference in your KDP business. And now let's talk pricing. I'm going to give you a pricing breakdown for all the tools that I'm going to talk about. So starting with BookBolt, you have a couple different options. Personally, I almost always go with yearly subscriptions just because yearly subscriptions are almost 100% of the time cheaper. And if you know it's a tool that you're just going to keep using for an indefinite period of time, then a yearly subscription is definitely a great way to go. With BookBolt, you can choose from either newbie or pro subscriptions. I've gotten this question a couple times, so I'm just going to break it down really quick for you guys. The only difference between newbie and pro is that pro will also give you access to another software that KDP has, and that is called PuzzleWiz. PuzzleWiz is basically, as the name sounds, you can create a bunch of puzzles, dot-to-dot, Sudoku, word search, you name it. You can do all that stuff with PuzzleWiz, and PuzzleWiz is honestly even cooler now just because of the new BookBolt Design Studio, which allows you to use PuzzleWiz right in the software. So if you have access to PuzzleWiz, then you'll also be able to create puzzles inside the Design Studio within that whole section where you can design your interior, which is honestly really cool. I didn't really use PuzzleWiz beforehand, but seeing it inside of the Design Studio just makes it a lot simpler to use, and I just love how it's integrated in that way. And then everything's a lot more customizable as well. So basically, if you see yourself wanting to make activity books, puzzle books, whatever it is, then you might want to go with the pro subscription rather than the newbie. However, I do want to note the price difference is a bit higher between these two. With the newbie subscription, it is $10 a month. But with the pro subscription, it's $20 a month. So that's definitely a bit of a jump. And if you choose to go yearly, newbie is $90 and pro is $200. If you're just getting started and aren't sure if you want PuzzleWiz, I'd recommend just starting with newbie. You can totally get PuzzleWiz later. Like, don't think that that isn't going to be an option for you in the future. I happen to have access to the PuzzleWiz software, and the only reason for it is because at one point, like when I had first started with BookBolt, I would get notifications upon logging in every now and then promoting PuzzleWiz and saying that if I upgraded, it'd be a lot cheaper. I'm pretty sure I was able to get it for, I want to say 100 to 120-ish. I can't fully remember, but I think I have the yearly subscription with puzzle is included for around $120, which definitely is a lot better than $200. So it may even be in your best interest to just start with newbie and wait, and you might get a nice promo deal so you can upgrade to puzzle waves when you honestly feel like you're ready. That's the approach I'd recommend you take. But I do also want to mention that you can get started with a 3-day free trial, which I would highly recommend. I got started with BookBolt with my own 3-day free trial, and then I just never unsubscribed because I liked it that much and I got into it, and I use BookBolt all the time for creating my KDP books. And last thing I'm going to mention about BookBolt and saving money with BookBolt, I do have a coupon code, Sarah20. Make sure to head down, click the link in the description to get started with BookBolt, and then use my coupon code, and that will give you 20% off your first month. All right, and now we are going to talk about my second tool. This one for me is a total no-brainer because I use it for literally everything. I use it for my YouTube channel all the time. This is how I design my thumbnails. And this tool, you've guessed it, is Canva. I freaking love Canva. Canva is my favorite tool ever. One thing I just love about Canva is that it just allows me to make money in so many different ways. I can use it to design anything I want. And as someone who has a bit of a passion for graphic design that I am slowly starting to realize, Canva is awesome for all of that. And it makes it really easy to get started with designing. There are templates you can choose from, so many different elements and fonts. So even if you're not the most creative person, it is not hard to get started. It is super simple, and Canva just makes it really fun as well. And you can start for free and be free for as long as you want. I was free on Canva for, I want to say, around a year before I finally upgraded to Pro. And I will tell you, there is a lot that you can still do with free. So if you see yourself using Canva a lot, then I think upgrading to Pro sounds great. But while you're just getting started, use free for as long as you want. And then if it makes sense to upgrade, go ahead and upgrade. The price isn't crazy. The main difference is obviously the features that are available to you. With Pro, you'll have access to a lot more fonts, a lot more elements, a lot more templates. I think that is the main thing. There may be some other slight design features that you might not have access to with free. I'm not fully sure just because they've added so much since I've upgraded. So I don't know what all the differences are, but I know the main thing is that you won't have access to the same number of stuff that you could when designing your creations. However, one thing that is great is if you find that perfect element that you know you must have, but you don't have access to Pro yet, you can purchase those things individually just as a one-off. So you can even go with that approach as well. But now let's talk pricing. So with Canva, again, start for free, be free for as long as you want. And then if you are ready to upgrade to Pro, it's not super crazy. Monthly is $13, yearly is $120. I do yearly for $120 and it is great. I love having unfettered access to all that Canva has to offer. I use it all the time for all my creations. Personally, I don't know if I would go with the Pro subscription if you are only using Canva for KDP. If you're using it all the time, if you're always creating KDP books, then maybe that would be the way to go. But if it's just for KDP, you may want to just stick with BookBolt for now. That's just a thought on my end. There are still lots of fonts that you can access, and you can use other platforms like Vecteezy and FreePick for grabbing your graphics, and you can use those instead rather than relying on the Canva graphics and elements and all that. And there is a 30-day free trial with Canva if you want to get started. If you want to try out Pro, make sure to go down and click the link in the description if you want to get started with that. I'm pretty sure that is how I started as well. And if you're gonna buy the Pro subscription, might as well start with that free trial because a free month doesn't hurt. And now for our third and final tool. I love this tool so much. This tool definitely isn't an essential, but it can help a lot, especially when it comes to creating KDP books fast. And that is Creative Fabrica. I've talked about all these tools a lot, and the reason for it is because I use these tools a lot. I love all these tools a lot, and the same is completely true with Creative Fabrica. I love how there are so many pre-made designs you can choose from, a bunch of different fonts, graphics, you name it. There is a ton of different stuff on Creative Fabrica. It's almost like Etsy, but if you were able to purchase access to everything on Etsy, paying either monthly or yearly, which is what makes it so awesome. Anyone can create designs and put them up on Creative Fabrica, and there are some really great designers on Creative Fabrica. I follow a couple, and I love seeing the stuff that they create, and I add them to my KDP books all the time. Sometimes even if I'm not creating KDP books, it's always fun to just search up on Creative Fabrica and see what's new, because I am often impressed by the designs that I see there. There are some really great ones, both for covers and for interiors. And there are also some Canva ones as well, so that you can edit those if you don't want to download them and upload them as is, which isn't always recommended, especially with your cover. Overall, it is a great platform that I couldn't recommend more highly. And now let's talk pricing, because Creative Fabrica has some very interesting pricing plans, but there are some really great opportunities that you can take to save a lot of money with Creative Fabrica while still getting access to basically every single design. And first off, I'm going to promote my $1 all access trial deal, which I have talked about a bunch. I would totally recommend it if you are still getting started with Creative Fabrica. If you want to see what Creative Fabrica has to offer, download anything that you want for only $1 for your first month. And you can cancel anytime if you're not feeling it. But if you're like me, you'll probably hold on to it because Creative Fabrica has so many designs, and there are new ones constantly being uploaded every single day, thousands and thousands and thousands of designs. So make sure to go down and click the link in the description to get started for only $1 for your first month. You honestly cannot beat that. And now for the pricing plans. For a while, I was doing just the graphics plan for $19, which gave me access to all the graphics on Creative Fabrica, which I think is great if you're looking for book covers and interiors. That'll give you access to anything related to KDP. And then if you want access to everything, it's $29 a month, all access to the fonts, to the crafts, to the graphics. However, this might not be as beneficial to you just because you might not want the fonts, you might not want the crafts. If you only want KDP graphics, then you may just want to go with the graphics subscription. However, something very important I'd like to note, I recently saw a promo deal for Creative Fabrica giving you yearly access to everything, all access for only $60 every single year, which, if you guys can do the math, is basically the equivalent of paying for 2 months of all access. However, you get that for a whole year, and that discount never expires. And just today, I checked again just to see if the promo deal went away, if there was anything new. And you guys, I wish I'd waited, because there is literally a $30 promo deal now, all access. So it's $30 a year, you'll get everything, and that discount will always apply to you every single year, which is crazy. Now we're talking literally only 1 month of all access, and you get it for the whole year. So again, go down and click that link in the description. You're going to want to head over to Creative Fabrica, because who knows what crazy promo deals they have going on. You can save a ton of money and get access to everything. It doesn't get much better than that. And what I love about Creative Fabrica is that it is just so easy. You can download anything that strikes you fancy and then upload it to KDP. Make any changes you want first, and then you're good to go. This is definitely a great route if you don't consider yourself to be the most creative person. I go back and forth in that regard. I'll often go onto Pinterest just to get inspired, and then I'll design. But Creative Fabrica, you can go right there and just download whatever your heart desires and add it to KDP books. All right, now I'm going to talk about something really quick. This is secret bonus tool number 4. This is one that I don't personally use enough, but I have used it a little bit. I just don't use it consistently. But once I get into like publishing KDP books a little bit more regularly, I think this is something I'm going to invest in full time, just because I think it is so freaking awesome, all that it offers you. And that is EasyPub Profits. Essentially, you pay $10, and every month you will get a completely different KDP guide that will tell you what niches and what books are popular to create that month. Niches is one of the biggest thing with KDP, especially because it can be hard to sell books on KDP. And one of the biggest reasons for that is because it's so hard to find just the right niche. But EasyPub Profits, they will give you so many different niches that you can choose from within that month. And you can see a lot of success from this. This is something I really want to get into. I've just included this as number 4 just because this isn't something I personally use right now, but something that I really want to use more regularly. $10 a month, $110 for a year. There's also VIP that is more expensive. It'll give you more personalized training and things like that. But again, that's a lot more expensive. It's like $400-ish bucks a year, $37-ish bucks a month. So that's if you're ready to really go pro. But you can just start with $10 a month, get that KDP guide, and if you create within those niches, maybe you'll find those niches on Creative Fabrica, upload them to KDP, and you can see quite a return on the money that you spent. All right, and that about sums it up. I'm curious, what tools do you use for your KDP business? And do you like the tools that I use? Do you have others that you would recommend? I would love to hear from you guys because there are honestly so many different keyword tools. There are so many different design tools. Just comment down below and I would love to hear from you. If you like this video, please give it a big thumbs up and subscribe to my channel for more content just like this. I would super duper appreciate it and I would love to have you. All right, guys, I hope you have a fabulous rest of your day. Bye.